Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to go over the horoscope for the week of 25th October to 31st October 2021. Now usually I do daily horoscope videos for each day of the week, but in this video I am going to incorporate those daily videos and we'll make it one video. So if you're used to watching me, there will be no daily videos this week. This video will give you the breakdown for every day of the week. Now I will speak about the overall highlights of the week, and then I will get into the details for each particular day and show you those details on the chart. And then I will conclude each day with one statement as to what the energy might be for each day. Now, if you don't want the details for every day and you're someone who rather know the big picture, then my recommendation is watching the quick introduction, the highlights of the week, and then skipping to the section where I give the energy for each day in a statement. And let's get started. So this week we have a few things. The moon is going to transit the signs of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. We will talk about these energies. And then on Tuesday we do have Venus squaring Neptune. Now this can feel challenging and we will talk about this as well. And we do have a positive aspect with Venus this week. It is going to sextile Jupiter, but the moon in Leo will oppose Saturn, which can feel challenging as well. And towards the end of the week, we do have the Sun squaring Saturn and Mars changing signs to enter the sign of Scorpio. So these are the major highlights, the major events for this week. And now I am going to get into the charts, and one by one, we will go through the days. So the chart is open for Monday, which is October 25th. And on this day, we have two important events. And the first is happening at about 8 a.m. Pacific time. And what's happening here is that the moon is in a trine with Mars. Now, this is a positive aspect. The moon is our emotions and Mars is taking action. It's our drive, and a trine facilitates things. So here we could really find that courage to take action and move forward. Our emotions are ready to take action at 8 a.m. Monday morning Pacific time. And another thing before we move on is that I'm going to talk about Pacific time in this video, but you can always convert the Pacific time to your time zone to know when the energy is going to happen for you. So that's the first highlight on Monday. Moon is going to trine Mars, an energy that can really instill in us the drive to move forward and take action. Now, the next important thing on Monday happens at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And what's happening here is that the moon has changed signs. Like I said, the moon is going to transit Cancer, Virgo, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo this week. So now the moon on Monday afternoon, 3 p.m., enters the sign of Cancer, and the moon changes signs every 2.5 days or so. And when it does, the focus in our life, the energy in our life shifts in subtle ways. And the moon rules the sign of Cancer, so it loves to be there. And when the moon is in Cancer, we are focused on nourishing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, spending more time with close friends and family. So starting Monday afternoon, the energy is going to be about nourishing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, focusing more on our deepest emotions. And the moon will be here for the next 2.5 days, so till Wednesday, before it enters the sign of Leo. And those were the highlights for Monday. Two important things: moon trining Mars, a lot of energy and drive and emotional courage to move forward and get things done, and the moon changing signs, a shift from a lot of stimulation, the moon in Gemini, to a shift towards nourishing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. Then moving on to Tuesday, the first important thing happens at 11 a.m. So I'm going to move up the chart and then we'll see this together. And what's happening here is that the moon is going to square Chiron. So this is more actually 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesday morning, The moon in Cancer is squaring Chiron in Aries, a 90-degree aspect, and this represents friction, and Chiron is the planet of our wounds. It's also how we heal. So around this time on Tuesday, we can feel some wounds coming back up, some pain that we might to deal with, some thoughts concerning things that might have wounded us in the past. And the goal is, through reviewing our emotions or anything else, making adjustments, things like that, to heal ourselves. But whatever this energy is, we can feel a little low. And if you are feeling like that, then it's this energy here. And let it pass. Do the work, heal yourselves. Don't react, don't respond to things in a hurtful manner, I would say, because at this moment we can feel hurt. And the best thing is to either let it pass or talk to ourselves so that we can heal ourselves. And then we do have the Venus Neptune square building, right? We spoke about this in the highlight section of the video, and the whole day this square is going to be building. It's going to come exact at 6 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesday evening. And what is this energy? Let's break it down. Venus is the planet of love, relationships, projects, and how we feel about ourselves, right? And Neptune is two very different energies. Neptune can be very spiritual, very creative, very magical, right? Because it's the planet of the higher realms, or it can be a planet of escapism, of delusions, of confusion. So Neptune manifests in these two very distinct ways. And what could be happening here are two very different energies. The first is that we feel very creative, we feel very spiritual about the relationships we're in, about some projects we're working on. It could be where spiritual love, Neptune, integrates with romantic love, Venus, right? Because Venus is romantic love and Neptune is spiritual love. So it can be the coming together of these two energies through some work that we do. Or it could be a feeling of feeling magical about a project we're working on, or feeling like, okay, spiritually I feel aligned with this relationship, this project, or I'm just feeling good spiritually. Or it can lead to confusion, it can lead to a desire to escape our love, romantic relationships, the projects that we are working on. So it could be a feeling of confusion about some project that you have, or a feeling of feeling a little low, perhaps about a relationship that you might be in. Whatever this energy is, it can feel stressful, and all of Tuesday we will feel this building till it peaks out at 6 p.m. and then begins to ease off. But if you feel low, if you feel confused, if you feel like, I don't want to be in this reality anymore, I don't want to I want to escape my projects, I want to escape my relationship, then it's this energy, and letting it pass and working with it is a good thing, I would say. And soon after this, we do have another stressful aspect at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And what's happening here is that the moon is going to square Mercury, right? So this is about 9 p.m. Pacific time actually. The moon is going to square Mercury, and this can be challenging as well because the moon is our heart and soul, it's our emotions, and Mercury is our logical mind. And when they square, oftentimes they're in friction, so our emotions are not aligning with our logical mind. And through this energy, the goal is to make adjustments so that we can align our emotions with our logical mind, so that we can say, okay, I feel this way and this is the right thing to do logically. Okay, logically this is right, and emotionally I'm okay with it. That's the energy. So Tuesday is a day that might feel quite stressful. We might feel a little low on Tuesday. We might feel confused. Alternatively, we might feel like, okay, spiritually, my projects, my relationships are falling in place. But it's a double-edged energy. It's can go either way. But even if it is positive, even if it is a feeling of feeling spiritual and creative about the relationships in our life, or the projects we're working on, there is an element of feeling some pain, feeling something like mentally and emotionally I'm not in sync. So that's Tuesday. Moving on to Wednesday, we have a positive aspect on Wednesday morning, and the moon is going to trine Neptune right here. Neptune is here and the moon is here. They're in a positive aspect, and we spoke about Neptune right now. Very spiritual, very creative, the planet of the higher realms, alternatively, confusion, delusions, addiction, depression, escapism, all Neptune's domain. And now it's contacting our emotions. So this could be a feeling where we feel very spiritual, we feel very creative, and it is a positive aspect. So highly likely that's the manifestation. But Neptune is highly sensitive and it's contacting our emotions, so we can feel emotionally sensitive at this point. Now this is 7 a.m. Pacific time, Wednesday morning. But overall, it's a positive aspect. It's a very emotional energy, it's a very creative energy, it's an energy that can really help us channel that spirituality into something creative. Great time for spiritual things, great time for creative things. And around the same time, you'll notice Venus is moving off its square to Neptune. Venus has hit 21, Neptune's at 20. So that intensity, if you felt that on Tuesday, the desire to escape your romantic relationship or the project you're working on, or just a feeling of feeling low, because Neptune is also depression in many ways, then by Wednesday morning, the energy will start to ease off. But the evening is an intense one on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We have the moon opposing, the moon here opposing Pluto. Now, this is not an easy energy, right? The moon is our inner heart and soul, it's our emotions, and the work we have been doing since Monday afternoon is about nourishing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, and now it's opposing Pluto, the planet of transformation. So, what this energy could be asking us to do is transform something deep in our emotions, because Cancer is the deepest emotions that we have, and Pluto is transformation, and it is also catharsis and release. So this is an energy that might ask us to release a lot of emotions, cleanse a lot of emotions, purify a lot of emotions, transform them perhaps, and it does not feel easy. And Pluto has this heaviness to it. So at this moment we might feel that heaviness of Pluto, but through that heaviness, through that intensity, we'll come out transformed in some ways after a process of release and catharsis. So that's an intense energy. And at about 10 p.m. Pacific time, we have another stressful aspect, right? And what's happening here is that Mars is in a square with the moon. More like 11 p.m. Mars is squaring the moon. Now, this could be an energy that makes us frustrated and angry, right? Because Mars can be angry, Mars can be frustrated, and it's contacting our emotions, the moon. So we can feel angry and frustrated at this point. But through adjustments, through changes, through taking action, Mars, we can prevent that feeling of anger and frustration. So the energy here is asking us to maybe change something and take action so that we don't get angry and frustrated, because this aspect can instill that frustration and anger in us. And that's it for Wednesday. So Wednesday we have a positive morning with the intensity of Tuesday wearing off, but the evening is an intense one again. We might feel heavy, we might feel angry, we might feel frustrated, so just be mindful of that. And now moving on to Thursday, the first important thing happens close to midnight, I would say, and this is happening at 3 a.m. Pacific time. The moon has changed signs. Now, from Monday afternoon up until Thursday early morning, it's about self care, it's about nourishing our emotions. But now it shifts on Thursday to what? To Leo. Leo is the sign that's all about love, it's about having fun, it's a very creative energy as well. It's all about having fun. That's Leo. And it's a very creative energy, like I said. So the moon typically would like to be in the sign of Leo, right? Because we feel good emotionally when we're in love, when we are doing fun things, when we are pursuing our hobbies, when we are channeling our creativity, all Leo things, we feel good. But the moon's transit through Leo is a little stressful, and it has been since December at least, and that's because Saturn here is in the opposite sign, Aquarius, and every time the moon enters Leo, it starts to feel that energy of Saturn, and Saturn is saying, hey, hard work, discipline, decisions, commitment. And Leo is saying, I want to have fun, I want to be creative, I want to indulge in my hobbies, I want to be in love. And Saturn is saying, but what about commitment? What about the work? All these sort of things. So the moon's transit through Leo till I believe Saturday afternoon. Yes, Saturday afternoon is going to be an energy where we will need to find that balance between having fun, going after what we love, and working hard, being willing to commit to these things for the long run. It's an energy that says, okay, you love that. Are you willing to work for it? Okay, you love that. What about committing to it? Whether that's a project, whether that's someone you love, anything like that. It's about committing to what you love, working hard towards what you love, right? Saturn is asking these things. So it doesn't feel easy. And that's the moon's entry into the sign of Leo on Thursday early morning. And then moving on, we will have another positive aspect, not another positive aspect, a positive aspect that we build up to on Thursday, and that's Venus sextiling Jupiter. Now, Venus is a benefic, it gives gifts and blessings, and a bigger benefic is Jupiter. It gives more gifts and blessings, right? But it also brings with it lessons. And now these two benefics are making a positive aspect, right? So, as the moon is moving through its transit in Leo, feeling stressed out, figuring out, okay, if I love this, can I work towards it? If I love this, can I really commit to it? Figuring that stuff out. We have a positive aspect where we might receive some good news, some blessings, some lessons when it comes to love, Venus, our relationships, Venus, or our projects, Venus. So there's a feel good energy happening in the background as we figure out this balance between what we love and what we are willing to work towards. And this energy, Venus sextiling Jupiter, peaks out at about noon Pacific time. So we will feel the positivity, but we will also feel the intensity of Saturn on our emotions, on committing, on defining things, on taking decisions all throughout Thursday. And let's move on. I'm going to move up the chart, and at about 6 a.m. Pacific time, we have another positive aspect. And what's happening here is that the moon is trining the north node and sextiling. Sorry about that. The moon is trining the south node and sextiling the north node. Yeah. And this energy is an energy where, through that process of figuring out what do I love, can I work towards it, we are in many ways releasing the past and moving towards our goals. And this energy here, this process here, this moment here can be karmic, can be fated, can be destined. And I say that because the nodes are karmic, right? And the moon is aspecting two karmic points. So this moment here is karmic, but more importantly, it's a positive aspect with the south node. Now, the south node is the past, it's what we are leaving behind, and the north node is where we are headed, it's our goals. So, this moment here is a karmic moment that can really help us move away from the past and into the future. And this does not feel stressful, although, since the moon is in Leo, it might have that background intensity of, okay, do I love this? Am I willing to commit to it? That's the energy. But this moment here is karmic, it's positive. And soon after this, at about 9 p.m., we do enter the last quarter square of the moon. Is it 9 p.m. or is it 9 a.m.? Give me a moment here. So, okay, it's right here. This is 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific time. We have the moon squaring the sun, and this begins the last quarter square of the moon. Now, the whole day, whole week, starting Thursday afternoon till November 4th, till we have the new moon in Scorpio, the energy is about releasing things, letting go of things. So now we'll begin that process of release and letting go. And this ties into the new moon in Libra that happened on October 6th. So whatever we planted, whatever we seeded back then, this is the week we start to release those emotions connected to that beginning, connected to that new moon, or something that we planted. We actually start to release those things and say, okay, you know, parts of this are working, parts of this are not working. I will stick to the parts that are working and take them with me to the next lunar month that begins on November 4th. But the whole week's energy, starting 1 p.m. Thursday afternoon, is about release and letting go. And moving on, soon after this, we do have the moon opposing Saturn exact. Now, this is 4 p.m. Pacific time. Saturn is right here, the moon is right here. Now, this is the peak of the energy that I spoke about in the beginning of finding that balance between what you love, what you want to go after, and whether you're willing to commit to it and work hard towards it. So, it's that energy. And last month, when the moon made this aspect, right, the moon makes all these aspects once a month because it takes about 28 days to move through this zodiac. And last month, when the moon opposed Saturn, Saturn was retrograde. We were still working on the past, but now Saturn is direct. It's been direct since October 10th. So now, whatever we commit to, whatever balance we find between what we love and what we're willing to work towards, is a new thing, right? In a way, it's not the past coming back up, it's not a review, it's forward movement. So, this is that energy. And Saturn also can make us feel low, it can make us feel depressed. And with the moon, our emotions, this can definitely be an energy that can stress us out, that can make us feel low, that can make us feel like nothing's working out, like I need to put in this work, and why is it feeling so hard for me to do these things? But through this, we will streamline what we want, streamline what we want to work towards, right? So it's that difficult process of deciding things, committing to things, defining things, and it peaks at 4 p.m. with the moon's transit in Leo. And moving on, we do have a positive aspect a little after. And what's happening here is that the moon is going to trine, is going to sextile, no, it's going to trine Chiron. And Chiron is right here. The moon is trining Chiron. And soon after all that intensity at 4 p.m., now this is 8 p.m., right? Now, soon after all that intensity of deciding and committing and maybe feeling stressed and low, we feel a feeling of feeling healed in some ways, Chiron and moon in a positive aspect, right? We say, okay, that was stressful. 4 p.m. was stressful. I decided these things, I defined these things, or simply I didn't feel very good. But towards 8 p.m., as the moon trines Chiron, moon is our emotions, Chiron is the planet of our wounds, but it's also how we heal, and this is a positive aspect. We might find some healing. We might say, okay, I went through that intensity, it felt challenging, I decided something, I committed to something, or I worked on my emotions, and now I feel a bit better. So, this is that energy. And that's Thursday. So, Thursday is an intense day because the moon is going to change signs and enter the sign of Leo, where it feels a little stressed because Saturn is opposing the Leo energy. And we do have a positive aspect, a karmic moment at about 6 a.m. Pacific time, where it'll get easier for us to let go of the past and move towards the future. But towards the evening, with the opposition to Saturn at about 4 p.m. and the last quarter square starting out, the intensity might really pick up, but towards the evening, we do have a feeling of feeling some sort of relief, some sort of healing. And then moving on to Friday, we have, okay, let me move up the chart and then we'll see. Now, this is a stressful aspect. Moon is going to square Uranus, 90-degree angle. This is 4 a.m. Friday morning. And what's this energy? Uranus is a lot of energy. It's the sign, it's the planet that rules electricity. And now it's contacting our emotions. So here we might feel a lot of emotions. A feeling of feeling frazzled can happen, but through changing something, through adjusting something, through working through the intensity of this energy that demands change, we might actually come one more step closer to our authentic self, to our true self. But whatever this energy is, it can make us feel frazzled, not depressed, not low, not like Saturn and Neptune, but frazzled. What do I do? There's so much to do. Okay, so many thoughts are coming into my mind, all that stuff. And that can leave us a little frazzled. So this is that energy, but through perhaps an emotional change, perhaps through getting rid of certain emotions, we might be able to navigate this energy to come one more step closer towards our true authentic self, because Uranus is our true authentic self as well. And at about, let me move up the chart and then we'll see. Now this is 9 p.m. Pacific time. So what's happening here is that the moon is going to oppose Jupiter. Now this is not an easy energy either, because Jupiter is a benefic. It's a planet that rules optimism and joy and hope, and now the moon is opposing it, right? So we might feel a little less hopeful, a little less joyous, a little less optimistic at this point. But the goal is again to work on ourselves so that we can keep that optimism, hope, and joy alive. And that's why the moon in Leo gets so stressed out, right? It opposes Saturn, then it squares Uranus every month, and then now it opposes Jupiter. So it does not feel very easy, this process of finding that balance between what you love and what you're willing to work towards. And that's it for Friday. So Friday is an intense day as well. There's a lot of intensity. So as the moon enters Leo on Thursday, we'll start to feel a lot of intensity. And then moving on to Saturday, we have another intense aspect, right? And what's happening here is that the sun is going to square Saturn. Now, this is not an easy energy. Saturn and the sun don't really like each other too much. So when they connect, it feels difficult. And Saturn is the planet of hard work and decisions, and the sun is our soul, it's our identity, it's our consciousness, and now it's making a stressful aspect with the planet of hard work and decisions and discipline. So this is a moment where we might really be required to define our identity, define our consciousness. And this process of defining our identity or taking decisions connected to our identity or committing to our identity, right? A part of our identity is not easy. It's stressful. They're in a square. They're in friction. Something is not aligning, but we are asked to align these things. We're asked to align our identity with working hard, with committing. And it's not surprising that all this is happening as the moon is in Leo, because the moon in Leo is all about figuring out that balance. What do you love? What are you willing to work hard towards? And now the sun is aspecting both these energies in a way. Okay, not both these energies, but the sun is aspecting Saturn, right? And the sun does rule Leo. So towards the end of the moon's transit in Leo, as we figured things out, as we weighed things out, what do I love? What do I work towards? Am I willing to commit to this thing that I love? Now Saturn is contacting the sun saying, so have you decided? Have you decided about your identity? Are you willing to commit to it? So this energy here does not feel easy. And Saturn and the Sun met up in Feb of this year, and they meet up about once a year. And when they meet up, we start a new cycle, right? Which started in Feb, a new cycle connected to our identity. Saturn defining our identity. Saturn conjunct the Sun. Hard work meets our soul. Hard work meets our identity. Commitment meets our identity. So once a year we go through this, and now it's squaring. And this is the last time they're going to square before the Sun moves up and meets Saturn again. So this is the point where we begin that closing out process of the identity that we started to construct in many ways in Feb when the Sun and Saturn conjuncted. Don't hold me to it, but I think it was 5th of Feb. I will check, but I remember that day. I think it was 5th of Feb. So this is that moment where we will, the final closing out, the final definition to whatever connected to our identity, our soul, our consciousness started to come about in Feb. And we will work towards it till the Sun meets up Saturn again. And I think that'll happen in Feb as well, because Saturn is in Aquarius and the Sun's going to be in Aquarius around Jan and Feb beginning. So that's the energy. So 3 a.m. Saturday morning can feel very intense. It can feel like we're really asked to take that decision, define our identity, something that started for us in Feb of this year. And soon after this intense aspect, we have Mars changing signs. Now, as you can see, Mars has entered the sign of Scorpio. Now, this I would say is a good thing, because before Pluto, Mars used to rule Scorpio. So Mars used to rule Aries in Scorpio. And that means that Mars feels very comfortable in Scorpio. It feels like, okay, I can work here. I understand Scorpio. I understand this energy of Scorpio, and I can work here. But Libra, not so much. Mars is a go-getter. It takes action. It wants to do things, and it wants to do them impulsively, Aries, right? And then it enters Libra, and it's asked, okay, did you figure it out? Did you weigh it out before taking action? No, I think you should weigh it one more time. So Mars is stuck, right? Mars is saying, okay, I have to weigh this out. I just want to take action. I just want to go for it, but I'm asked to weigh things out. I don't feel good. That's Mars in Libra. Okay, again, I have to weigh the pros and cons. Why can't I just go for it? That's me. That's Mars, right? So it does not like to be in Libra. And see, Mars rules the sign of Aries. Aries is our individuality, it's our identity. And what is Libra? It's relationships, it's the others, right? So Mars is all about individuality, and now it's in a sign where it's asked to be all about others. It's saying, no, I'm all about me, I'm not about others. So it feels uncomfortable. But now in Scorpio, Mars feels great, right? It knows Scorpio, it used to rule Scorpio. Scorpio is a very intense energy. It's an all or nothing approach, right? It's not, okay, this is good as well. How do I find balance? No, it says, I want this, I will go after it. I don't care. I don't care about the pros and cons as much. That was Libra's domain. I have done that work. Now I'm in Scorpio, all or nothing. So Mars likes that. And with Mars in Scorpio, now I'm going to backtrack a little bit to give you the background. We had a full moon in Aries on October 20th, and that full moon in Aries was about taking action, moving forward, transforming how we do things, right? And going after what we love. But with Mars and Sun both in Libra, that might have felt stressful, right? Because the Sun entered Scorpio on October 22nd, 11 p.m. Pacific time for most of the world, October 23rd. But with Mars, and now both these energies in Scorpio, we can really go after what we started on the full moon, because the full moon energy about transforming how we take action, taking action which will result in something positive, will be there till the new moon, right, on November 4th. We will be in that energy. So with Mars entering that sign of Scorpio, we will be able to make things happen a little bit more. And that's a shift we will see. And then at about noon, we will see another shift. And Now this time the moon has left Leo and entered Virgo. Now this, I would say, eases off that pressure of Saturn. Typically the moon does not like the sign of Virgo because it would much rather be in Pisces, right? Our emotions like to go with the flow, Pisces. But Virgo is about, let's plan, let's get organized, let's focus on the mundane, the day to day, the details, analysis. That's Virgo. And Virgo is an energy that can get stressed. So the moon does not like to be there. However, this is, I believe, an easier energy than the moon in Leo for this time because it's not opposing Saturn, right? And the moon in Virgo for the next 2.5 days. So we will finish off this week with the moon in Virgo, which will be about planning, getting organized, analyzing things, focusing on the day to day, the mundane, focusing on our health, on our diet, on our exercise. All these are Virgo things. And it's not surprising that we do this work after the moon in Leo, because what happened when the moon was in Leo and the sun squared Saturn? We figured out what the balance between what we love and what we are willing to work towards. And after figuring that out, what do? We say, okay, I figured it out. Now let's plan for it. How do I make it happen? How do I adjust my routine? So this is that energy. But as it enters the sign of Virgo, the moon will move on and it will square the nodes. Now, this is a magnification of all that Virgo energy of planning, organizing, analyzing, focusing on the day to day, focusing on the mundane, but it's also an energy that can be very worried, that can be very anxious. So just be mindful of this. And this is 1 p.m. Pacific time, Saturday afternoon. And now moving on to Sunday. So Saturday, we see a shift. Right? Mars enters Scorpio. The moon changes signs. Saturn has squared the sun early in the morning. So that hard work, that intensity that started on Thursday changes. I don't say ease off, it changes. Eases off also in certain ways, not many ways. And then moving on to Sunday. Now this is 9 a.m. Sunday morning, and what's happening here is, sorry about that, 9 a.m. Yeah, there we go. We have the moon in a trine with Uranus. Now Uranus, like I said, is sudden, it's unexpected. It wants us to be our true authentic self, and it's contacting the moon again, but this time in a positive way. So this time we can undergo certain changes emotionally or in our routine, in our health, in our habits, in our job, in our self-worth, in our values, in our skills, or in our material world, in our material reality, that will help us get more in tune with our truth. Because this aspect is happening in earth signs. Earth signs are all about this material reality. So this is a change. It can be sudden, it can be unexpected, a sudden change to our diet, sudden change to our routine, sudden change to our plans, all Virgo. In an effort to align ourselves more with our truth so that we can work better towards being our true authentic self. And this does not feel stressful, it's a positive aspect. And today we also have, move up the chart and then you'll see this, we also have Mercury here trining Jupiter. Now this is a positive energy. Mercury is our logical mind. It's the scientific brain, so to speak. It's our day-to-day, it's our thinking, it's our communication. And Jupiter is the abstract mind. It's higher wisdom, it's knowledge, it's gifts and blessings. And this is a positive aspect, right? And now I will, before I break this down, I do want to mention that Mercury was retrograde from September 27th to October 18th. And when Mercury went retrograde, it squared Pluto and trine Jupiter, which is what it is starting to do on Sunday afternoon, right? After 25 degrees, as Mercury hits 25 degrees, it's going to move off the retrograde area, right? It retrograded between 10 and 25 Libra, but now it's beginning its square to Pluto and trine to Jupiter. Now this is the third time Mercury is doing this. It did this when it was direct, then when it was retrograde, and now the third time, and this is the most helpful time. So whatever changes we have been trying to make to our thinking, communication, diet, health, routine, job, lifestyle, Mercury, which might have come about with a lot of stress and intensity, will finally start to happen, not on Sunday, but as Mercury moves on and squares Pluto and trines Jupiter. So we are seeing the rewards, the blessings, the lessons that we started to work on September 27th as Mercury went retrograde. So now in the next few days, starting Sunday, that process of transforming our diet, health, routine, job, lifestyle, communication, social media, writing, Mercury things will start to complete itself, which will result in a blessing or a reward or a lesson. And with Mercury contacting Jupiter in a positive way, we might start to see those lessons, rewards, and blessings right from Sunday afternoon. We might, because it's building its trine to Jupiter. But we end the week with a slightly stressful aspect at 11 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry, my chart is not moving. Okay, I'll show you on this chart. And what's going to happen at 11? Okay, it's moving now. So what's happening here at 11 p.m. is that the moon is going to oppose Neptune, right? The moon is our emotions, and in an opposition, we can, with Neptune, the planet of confusion and escapism and feeling low, we can feel confused, we can feel low, we can feel depressed, we can feel overly sensitive in our emotions. We might not be able to see things clearly at this point. So my suggestion is to let this energy pass. That's how we end Sunday. So those were the charts for the week, and I will now close it out by giving a statement for each day of the week and what to expect as a closing out. So I would say the week starts off with an easy aspect as the moon changes signs into Cancer, and we do have the moon Mars trine on Monday. So it's a easier Monday than most days. Then Tuesday can feel slightly low, slightly challenging on one hand, but on the other hand, it might be a day where we feel spiritually aligned with our relationships and projects while having some sort of intensity in the background. Now, Wednesday begins with a positive aspect, but towards the afternoon and the evening and night, we'll feel intensity again. We feel intensity again. But if on Tuesday you felt confused and low and all those things about your projects and relationships, then on Wednesday that begins to ease off as well. Then on Thursday, the intensity really dials up as the moon enters the sign of Leo, and where it is asked to oppose Saturn, and we will also have the last quarter square of the moon begin on this day. So a lot of intensity on Thursday, which is asking us to find the balance between what we love and whether we are willing to work hard towards it. But there is a positive blessing with Venus sextiling Jupiter on the same day. This could bring about a lot of gifts, a lot of blessings, a lot of wisdom as well. And then on Friday, we have an intense day because the moon does square Uranus and oppose Jupiter as the sun gets ready to square Saturn. So we'll feel that intensity on Friday. That will really peak on Saturday morning with the Sun Saturn square that will ask us to define our identity, take a decision regarding that, and that process for us started in Feb of this year. And Mars also changes signs. So we will, on one hand, be completing the process of finding that balance between what we love, whether we are willing to work hard towards it, defining our identity, our consciousness, a soul, a process that started in Feb and will continue till next Feb. But this is an important point in that process. And as Mars enters Scorpio on Saturday, we'll find that drive and courage and power to really move towards the full moon energy of transforming how we take action and moving forward. And with the moon changing signs on Saturday as well. We'll see a shift. The intensity will ease off, but now the focus will shift more to the day to day, to analyzing, to planning, to organizing, and in bursts we might feel stressed. And Sunday is a positive day because the moon does trine Uranus and Mercury does trine Jupiter, and this is where the work we have done since September 27th on our communication, thinking, diet, health, lifestyle routine, job, in transforming those things will start to become clear, starting with the Mercury Jupiter trine building, but it'll really get clear when Mercury moves off 25 degrees and gets out of that area that it's covered during its retrograde. So that's the week for us, and I will maybe pick a card for this week and then we'll talk about it. Okay, we have 3 cards, so I can go with all 3. Happiness, taking risks, and wonders. And I think this is pretty clear. Taking risks this week, going after what we want, can lead to wonders and miracles and happiness, because the full moon in Aries this week is about taking action, transforming how we take action, and moving forward. And these 3 cards sum up the week really well. And for next week, we are building up to the new moon in Scorpio on November 4th, which will be at 12 degrees of Scorpio. It will oppose Uranus and it will square Saturn. It is an intense full moon, new moon, and I will feel it very intensely because my Venus is at 12 degrees of Scorpio. So that's something we are building up to, and I would say this is a week towards the end. We will feel intense, we will feel stressed, but with Leo, the moon in Leo, there's always an element of fun involved. There's always that Leo energy of heart and love and fun, although the Saturn seriousness is there. So we might go through intensity. We might be asked to balance things out and figure out what we are working hard towards, and maybe take some decisions concerning our identity. But we must do it with a joyous Leo, full of heart, full of love, full of joy approach. And it's more important than ever to cultivate that Leo energy, because I haven't spoken about this in my dailies or weeklies, but I think I have done 2 videos where I do speak about this. And we have a lot of energy in Aquarius, right? Saturn is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the opposite of Leo, right? And Aquarius is an energy that can be very detached. It can lead to isolation as well, social isolation. And if you see, we have been in that sort of space for some time now, where the where the energy is detached. Yes, it's about Aquarius is about equality and technology and electricity and even astrology. But on the other hand, every sign has a positive and negative. And I'm not saying if you're an Aquarius, you're this, but I'm just saying that Aquarian energy can manifest as a very detached energy. And we must not let that happen, right? And to not let that happen, we must go to the other side, Leo, and do things from our heart and soul. So, with Saturn in Aquarius opposing the moon in Leo, yes, we must work hard, but we must not forget that heart, right? Just something additional that I wanted to mention. And I hope you guys enjoyed this way of the weekly reading. I do give the details of the dailies, but I feel this is more time effective for you and me both. And I feel this can really give us the energy of the week in a more comprehensive, precise way. And that's why I feel I'm going to stick to this system. See, I'm very new in the astrology space. I only started in April of this year. And before that, I was not on social media. I mean, I would watch YouTube videos and all that, but I've never been one to have a lot of social media postings and that sort of stuff. But somehow in April of this year, it was an unplanned start to this YouTube channel, and in a way it's taken a life of its own, and I am also still trying to figure out the best way to give you the most content in the most time effective, precise manner. And another reason, and that's why I think this is a good system, and another reason I think this is a good system is because this frees my time up in certain ways to be able to put out content that I haven't been able to put out but have wanted to. So maybe it'll free up some more time for me where I can work on those things and put those videos out that I have wanted to do. And I think that sums it up for this week. So this week the energy is there, which is saying figure out what you want and whether you're willing to work hard towards it. With the full moon in Aries energy still on, we are asked to transform how we take action. We are asked to begin things, and we are asked to move forward, right? And the cards also support the energy by saying that it's okay to take risks, and taking risks can lead to something wonderful. It can lead to wonders and happiness. So I think we should all strive for that this week. And if you take my own example, I had no idea I'm going to be changing things up like this, but I guess the full moon energy is asking me also to transform how I do things, right? How I take action. So maybe this is that energy manifesting in my life in this way. Okay, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in one of my other videos now. Bye.